What happens when you take a little look deeper? Everything might not quite be what it seems. Scary.
Around in circles. I joined call, and when I'm getting, you're talking to me, going, this is the thing. Even though now, when it's too fucking late, you admit that you did everything fucking wrong. But when it actually matters, when you should lay down like a good fucking dog, you don't fucking do it. You fight for some reason. I don't know why you fight, because you're losing. Because you end up admitting that you fucked it all up anyway. So it's just fucking weird. And I know that you're going to end up admitting that you fucked it all up. Is it generally because you're just fucking brain dead?
Yeah, I'm very brain dead, yeah.
Is that why you decided to go on the fucking offensive instead of the, maybe...
Offensive.
Okay. I don't know what to call what you did. It was weird. It's always weird. You always take the fucking weird route. Just do the normal route, which is... Just do the normal route, but a normal girlfriend
You're
would do.
acting like this is all just me, and that's something you really need to fucking fix.
I'm gonna fucking bash your fucking head against the wall with a brick if you don't shut the fuck up. Because this one, genuinely, this one, you fucked this.
Maybe not everything deserves a comeback.
Well said, Alex. You know what? This is like the third or fourth video that I have made on this subject already, so if you're new to the situation, you haven't heard about the ImAlexx situation and accusations that's been floating around the internet, which, for reasons, I have to say they're alleged and accusations because legal issues that could be involved later down the line. So just for now, we're going to keep saying that it's accusations. It's a whole court of law. Everybody's innocent until proven guilty. Also, the proof is in the pudding, and there is so much proof in the pudding of screenshots that Alice has released, but not just Alice. There has been multiple girls who have come forward now and spoke about the situation. This video is going to be quite interesting because whenever that whole situation came about with Alice exposing him, Annie spoke out about the situation, but before his second ex came out and spoke out about her experiences with Alice, his two friends, Mimulus and iNabbers, had to spoke out about the situation, and iNabbers was saying how he was just completely in the dark about what was going on with Alice. But Kirsty, or Kirst, I'm so sorry, I don't know why I keep pronouncing her name wrong, spoke out about the situation, and she was like, hell no, that is not the case. iNabbers knew exactly what was going on but didn't speak out about it or defriend Alex because it was beneficial to iNabbers and his career. I will say though that Kirst really didn't provide any real evidence to back up any of her claims. She's more so just making accusations at this point, so it is what it is, and I just want to be very clear on that. As of right now, everything is just accusations, even though with Alice and Annie there's some evidence that they were able to provide. Alice provided a shit ton of evidence, and Annie just had a little bit of screenshots. Nonetheless, very incriminating as well. But Kirst here in the situation, she's more so just talking about her experience with iNabbers and how she thinks she knows what the situation is. But with that being said as well, there was another ex who did come out and speak about Alex. So before we dive into what Kirst is saying about iNabbers, I feel like it's only fitting to bring up this third ex now who's speaking out about Alex and what a shit person he was. But I just want you guys to keep in mind, this ex said that this happened years ago. They just deleted all their screenshots. They don't have anything to show. They just more so wanted to speak out about the experience. So with that being said, let's dive into it. This ex said, from November 2018 to February 2020, I was in an on and off relationship with Alex, as everything else seems to experience. The first few months up to a year were as you'd expect with a brand new relationship. I can't speak much now, as 4 years later I have suppressed these memories and don't tend to think back on that time. I had made a statement in 2020 for my own personal closure and didn't expect it to go anywhere but just exist. I really wanted to reach out to someone, but I knew I didn't have the evidence because I deleted our messages to try to get over the breakup. I've included my original statement alongside a Facebook message between Alex and my friend during an insomnia event, and y'all, why the hell would you message this to somebody? And this message reads, yo, where's Jess? For fuck's sake, I am very angry at bar. I am going to kick her head in. Now I'm locked out. Might kill her. Might actually kill her. Why would you say this in general? Just why? Then after those messages, there was an ominous 39-second audio call. I wish we had the audio. But then she continues saying that this was Alex and her friend's messages during an insomnia event where he thought I wasn't in our hotel room. He left to go see Slazo before the accusations had happened, and I had woken up to banging on the door to said friend showing me this message and saying Alex was looking for me. I was in the bed next to him. He just hadn't bothered to look. When confronted, he laughed about it, and I told him to never say that about me again. While I'm thankful I'm now in a position where my current partner, who has helped me heal through the damage that Alex caused, my heart breaks for Alice, having gone through so much worse and still dealing with the consequences. She deserves nothing but peace and happiness here on out. Nothing she has done will justify his actions towards her. Now, ever since Alice spoke out originally on June 15th, all these other women have been coming out to speak about the situation, and she actually replied to this one and said, "Proud of you for being able to speak out about it." Usually when situations like this happen, especially with big YouTubers, a lot of people jump on board with speaking out about them, and sometimes we even get people who didn't have personal experiences with them or did have personal experiences but it never reached that extent. But they feel the need to fabricate and make up things, but Jess actually shared this where she posted this December 27th of 2020. So she talked about this long ago. It just never really got the attention or recognition that it needed. And now that Alice has spoken out and everybody's kind of on the board of canceling Alex, she's showing this as a way of saying, look, I'm not doing this for clout and attention. I genuinely had this experience. And this just goes to prove that this happened years ago and he's still the same way. Now, she said specific names won't be mentioned, but most can assume anyway. Whoever is currently in a relationship where your partner is heavily one-sided, guilt trips you, or puts you down, please get out. I know it's hard to think of wanting to leave, but I can assure you it's for the best. The start of my last relationship was everything I had wanted at the time. I was already living my best life, so things were only improving. The guy was super lovely and sweet to me, always cared and went the extra mile, but something changed not long into the relationship. It was like he was keeping things away from me, which is obvious you tell your partner. I mean, I would have in that situation. She continued by saying, there was a time when his ex came back into the picture, and like anyone, I had a horrible gut feeling. When they met up, she ended up going to his flat and went out clubbing with him and some mates, all of which I had to find out through social media. Nothing from him. I'd already made it apparent it made me uncomfortable, them two being together, but his response when I wasn't happy was, I didn't think it was going to be a big deal, and I have to be friends with her for work. Anything I'd say, I was met with an excuse. No, sorry, I'll tell you next time, or anything. So I just had to push how I felt aside and watch them on calls every night and talk all the time. Now, she continued this by saying, shortly afterwards, he broke up with me as he was planning on moving elsewhere, and he said the last 6 months were the worst of his life and how nothing good has happened. I was devastated and spent countless nights crying myself to sleep because at the time, I genuinely loved this guy and I'd do anything for him, and it hurt a lot that I couldn't make him happy. Now, what in the hell kind of voodoo or black magic is Alex doing to this woman to cause otherwise sensible, beautiful women to follow him around like a lost puppy and endure such behavior? Now, the rest of Jess's statements here were pretty interesting as well because she was saying how he was a lot closer to his ex than he had let on, telling her all these things that he wanted to keep private from Jess, but was so open to talking about the ex with. And these are things that, again, you would tell the person you're in a relationship with, the things that are bothering you. But his excuse was, oh, I don't want to bring you down, this, that, and the third. But then she also brought up the point that he was complimenting other girls' asses about how well that they looked, but she couldn't even simply tweet somebody back. Now, I did skip over some of these parts, but I'm going to read the last paragraph that she used to wrap this up with. But over on my community tab, if y'all really want to get in depth and read everything for yourself, feel free to subscribe to this channel, one, and then two, go check out my community tab because later today I will be uploading all of her statements there so you guys can just skim through it and read as you want. But she wrapped this up by saying, this guy made me feel completely worthless, self-conscious, and gave me such a lack of trust in people that it's taken me back how much my current partner is understanding and willing to help me overcome my depression. He's literally having to deal with the damage that my ex caused. There's so much to it that I could go on for page after page, but these are the main points that stick out for me right now. No doubt if he catches wind of this, I'll get accused of lying or he'll just shout at me like he used to. I told him he was mentally abused, and he said, don't go throwing that around. I'd like to have full closure on our relationship, but I know he will never admit to how selfish and cruel he was. So this is all I can do. I have a lot of friends who have seen texts and heard voice notes from him, and don't worry, they don't like you either, and we'll back this. Now, that was Alice, Annie, and Jess. Jess was this woman who just spoke out, and that's the paragraphs and statements that we had just read. 3 damn women so far has come out and had horrible experiences with Alex, and as of filming this video, I'm not sure if another one had spoken out yet or not, but if they do, trust me, I will cover that in a separate video. But we're going to be diving into the second half of this video right now, which is Kirst exposing iNabbers, saying he knew more than he let on. Oh, I just want to explain real quick what you're seeing on the screen. This is ImAlexx's social blade, and as you can see, he is losing a shit ton of subscribers. He started with 2.07 million, and now he's the whole way down to 1.97. He is seeking and seeing the repercussion of this. Now, iNabbers' ex, Kirst. She spoke out and said, I deleted what I said earlier, but F that. iNabber knew what Alex was. He would often comment how he was an awful person and even labeled Alex as a narcissist himself. Everyone knew what a disgusting person Alex was and is. Pretending you were in the dark is inexcusable. She continued by saying, whilst I don't believe that anyone knew to the full extent Alex was treating Alice, everyone knew Alex was a narcissist prior to Alice's statement from how he treated literally everyone else. He's cold and malicious in ways there is no way anyone can deny. She continued and said, Alex was an extremely toxic friend of Frasier, along with so many others, and as someone who once loved him, it was so hard to watch. But Frasier admitted to me that he put up with it because being friends with Alex benefited him in his work. Then she says here, Frasier is also a very calculated person, and manipulating and lying comes so easy to him, it's disturbing. He is not the same, but not far from different from Alex behind closed doors. That is a huge statement and huge accusation to put out there, given all the information that's come forward about Alex. I get Kirst wanting to speak out and say her piece, but for her to throw in that he's not that far of a different person than Alex is behind closed doors is very disturbing, considering that there is allegations going on right now about Alex, and again, they're all allegations, even though we have a shit ton of proof to look at. You can't just say that. You can say they're very cold, calculated, manipulating behind closed doors, but to say that he's the same as Alex, I think that's a little bit of a stretch. Now, she said, what I experienced in my relationship with Frasier is something I'm still working through to this day in therapy. I will not be putting out a detailed statement because my situation is something I would like to heal from in private without the input from strangers online. She continued this by saying, what I do feel comfortable to say is that the way I was treated drove me to a not here anymore attempt in June 2023. Sorry, I did not know how to say that. But back when I was still living with him, not being here anymore, thoughts and tendencies is still something I'm struggling with because of that relationship and struggling to heal properly. She also says here, I also got diagnosed with chronic stress from how he treated me. I experienced and continue to experience hair loss, extreme daily nausea / vomiting, insomnia, and debilitating migraines, all from the emotional implications of that relationship. So my neighbor's car caught on fire while I'm filming this. And I just want to say as well, I'm not a medical professional. I've never claimed to be. But one thing that does get to me a little bit is that she's throwing out some crazy accusations without having the backup or proof. The other girls at least provided a little bit of screenshots or context or something. And this woman's not. She's saying that he's the same as Alex behind closed doors, which with the accusations that came out about Alex behind the scenes is really wild to put iNabbers in that situation without providing any type of evidence that he is that way. Now, I just want to say, though, as well, her saying that that relationship caused her to be vomiting and nauseous every day and to have this chronic stress and migraines that are just debilitating, and she has to seek therapy and she's still working through these issues from that relationship. I don't know if, I'm sure, the stress of that relationship could have caused something. I don't know if it could have been chronic. But it's just interesting that these are, again, more wild accusations, but this one doesn't back anything. I don't know if she can get legal repercussion from this or not, but if she did go through this, again, I'm not here to downplay or degrade anybody's stories. If you go through trauma, you go through trauma, and it's not up to us to sit here and nitpick and speculate, so I'm not going to say what she went through. It's not her story. It definitely is her story. I just wish that she would have been a little bit more careful about comparing him to Alex like that without having any type of proof, because when she says that, they're all going to look at those allegations that Alex has and kind of put iNabbers in that same boat. But Missy Ma'am did it. She did it on Twitter, and now everybody is going crazy. But with that being said, iNabbers did respond to this, and we're going to be taking a look at his response now. He posted this 7 to 8 page Google Doc file, and he said brief disproving of the allegations made by Kirsty. She included that tweet that she had made saying, I deleted what I said earlier, but F that. And he said, this is the original tweet, and the one doing the most rounds seems to suggest I knew about the things going on. He then said she was image on the right, since backtracked and stated that I actually did not know about Alice. She states she was angry and was making this about myself, despite her making this about me. Now he says here, now my friendship with Alex have confirmed was toxic. I've had many fallings out with him. Publicly, me and Alex have had fallings out. And of course, I spoke to my, at the time, girlfriend Kirst about it because she was my girlfriend and people in relationships typically open up and vent about their feelings. My friendship with Alex is very confusing to me personally. As I said on my own story, I'm pretty embarrassed that I didn't just cut ties with him in the past after plenty of fallings out. He continued by saying, Alex is widespread a dislike content creator and has been since 2019. I remained friends with him because I am a loyal person, but also because back then I was genuinely worried about well-being, and in a lot of cases in 2021, I was also worried too. He continues by saying 2022 to 2023, me and Alex only saw each other walking the dog for the most part, but even then it was still toxic. Then in mid-2023, we started gaming a lot more together and speaking way more than we usually did, and that was obviously led to us making a podcast that lasted 4 episodes. He's now addressing that allegation that she said that he only stayed friends with Alex because it benefited him and his career, and he said this is quite frankly a bizarre allegation that she's made, that I stayed friends with Alex because it apparently benefited me. My relationship with Alex only did the exact opposite of benefit me, especially at the time of when I was in a relationship with Kirst. I don't really want to be speaking too much about numbers, but the reality is Alex's channel has been bleeding subs for 5 years, nowhere near his relevance in 2018 and a widespread disliked creator. But also, Alex has only also been in the title of one of my videos he's featured in during the entire existence of my channel. That was in 2018, and then he attached that video below. Now, he put this video here and said, I believe our last proper collab with Alex was a Morgs video that was in 2019. I've searched his name on my channel, and these were the only 2 videos that pop up. And then he said here, as you can see, Alex really did not benefit my channel. I went and checked his main channel, and during the period I dated Kirst, January 2022 to early 2023, I was featured on the ImAlexx YouTube channel 0 times. Our collab after that came in July of 2023 after we had broken up, which again, I did not benefit from much at all. He then continued to say, we eventually moved into a bigger flat in March 2023. We both needed more space. I wanted a bigger spot. It made sense. During most of the 2022, Kirsty didn't really have a space as we were living in a 2-bed flat, and one of those rooms was my office. After we broke up, Kirsty remained living in my flat until December of 2023. I did not want to make her homeless. And she seemingly had nowhere to go as she wasn't contacted with her family at that point. I would have been extremely unfair for me to kick her out, and I said at the beginning, I'm happy for you to take as much time as you need to move out. Honestly thinking this would be a couple of months, and you'll learn why I changed my mind just after a few screenshots, so let's get into those screenshots. Now, the ones on the left are insane, talking about the not wanting to be here anymore situation, to where she said squad, he said Kirsty, she said Kenji is on watch, Angelica, and Lewis is on an actual watch. He started talking about this though, saying that he wanted to show his own screenshots and DMs of how Kirsty spoke to him personally from May to June of 2023. These are a little bit blurry as I zoom in on them, so if I struggle to read this a little bit, please bear with me. But she goes on to message him and she says, really miss you and I really hope we can talk at some point. Then she said, sleep well with an ex. How are you feeling with an ex? Then she said, do you think you could come over or I could come to you at some point today? She said, I understand that you're busy or maybe ignoring me or maybe both. I don't know. But hey, I love you and I really can't let you go when I know that if we don't talk, we can most likely sort stuff out for the better. She said, if there is any chance that you love me too, then this is at least worth a proper conversation. Please try and be open-minded. And then she said, can I at least get a reply? He said, sorry, I've been in and out of sleeping all day. I don't really think it's a good idea to chat today. I'm dead, LOL. Here she's saying that she wished they just talked more because she was upset with how she was taking everything so personally because they didn't really talk about things. So she just really took it personally, saying that I wish we talked and I hate that we didn't. So it really just looks like she's pulling for any type of relationship she can get out of Fraser right now. These messages seem like she's just pretty desperate to get her lover back. And even here she's saying, I love you, Frey. I hate this. I wish you would just come home and we could talk this out. And he's just like, I'm not sure what we have to talk about. He attached this screenshot here and said, now there's this screenshot also from June where the questions she was asking me really started making me feel uncomfortable. And she said, can you just let me know if I gained too much weight? Is this why you didn't want to have with me anymore? He said, pardon? She said, it's just been a real confidence knock. It keeps playing on my mind because when I was super skinny, we would have sex all the time. But when I got a healthy weight, it stopped. And usually there's always breakups. And this was my first breakup. Without breakups, I'm wondering if I'm just not attractive anymore. Please, I just want to know if I'm really not attractive anymore. Fraser, please. If it's my weight that's an issue, I want to know. Yeah, this is his wrap-up statement, and he said, as you can see, she randomly messaged me out of nowhere asking why I hadn't had breakup sex with her. I had no idea what to even think here. Not only is this just an incredibly inappropriate thing to send to anybody randomly, I just think it puts me under a lot of pressure. He then continued to say, what am I supposed to say here? Obviously, I went on to say that this isn't the case, but DMs like this were really starting to make me uncomfortable, and I really didn't ever want to share these as this was a breakup in a bad situation. I obviously know she was going through it, but to shape it in the way that she has when this is really the reality of it isn't fair. Not having sex was a massive issue in the later stages of our relationship, which was caused by my medication I had, and he also stated how in 2023 his depression was boosted by horrific events that he had mentioned previously to do with his dad's stroke and friends passing. He continues to say these things happened before the breakup and after the breakup. But yeah, fair to say, I obviously didn't want to have a breakup, and these texts made me feel so uncomfortable. I think anybody who's ever been friends with Alex at this point should just throw away their identities because he definitely is going to drag down your name, especially if you're a content creator who was ever associated with him. But I think as well for Kirst to be saying these wild accusations about Fraser knowing how the situation really went down, I think maybe she could just be seeking a little bit of attention or recognition for being a part of the situation. I do understand though that everybody's reality is different because perception is reality. So how she perceived that relationship and the things that she went through in that relationship, that's her reality. You know, that's how she perceived it. She felt it, she went through it. So it could be worse for her than what it is for other people just because that's the way it was perceived through her eyes. But with that being said, again, I think it's wild to compare him to Alex in the context of what she did without giving explanation onto the fact that it's cold and calculated or the manipulative personality that she claims that Fraser has. I just think it's interesting that she left that kind of open-ended, saying he's just as bad as Alex is behind doors. How? Because there's a lot of abuse allegations going around right now, and I'm sure he doesn't want associated with that or people thinking he's just as bad as Alex behind closed doors because we've seen the videos on public and we've heard the private audio recording where he's just absolutely vile. Just in my opinion, let me know y'all's thoughts and opinions about the situation in the comment section down below. There is definitely going to be more updates on this because this situation just keeps blowing up and getting more and more out of control, and people are dropping Google Doc files just left and right. It's like every time I open the internet and go online, I'm just seeing this ImAlexx situation spread even further and fueled even more. But with that being said, let me know again your thoughts and opinions, and I'll be catching y'all in the next video.